because I think, as a fan of ELP myself over the years, so you think classical music a lot and bring classical elements in, but there's also jazz.
Yes.
There's rock.
Yes.
There's a little bit of folk music and maybe some British pub music in there. I mean, it's such a mixture of things together. I think the classical music side of it, because of pieces like Nutrocker and Rodeo, gets a lot of notes. But how did you think of it? When I hear your drumming, it always seems like you're the one holding it down. If Keith is playing the classical riffs, maybe he's playing the bit from Mussorgsky or something.
Yes.
It always seemed like you were really the one holding the rock element down in the center.
Well, that's generally the main job of a drummer, And I always, I always make a big deal. If you want somebody just to keep time, you can buy a drum machine.
Right.
But Emerson, Lake and Palmer, for me, as a band, it was fantastic because being brought up in a classical environment and not wanting to be in an orchestra, you can imagine being in a rock band that plays classical adaptations. Right? It's the full ticket. I'm home and dry. This is a slam dunk, right? As you guys call it here. I'm in. It's the full 9 yards. I'm ready. So for me, it was the ultimate situation at the time. I was already in a trio prior to this, the Atomic Rooster, and Arthur Brown was a trio in actual fact. So I got the taste, and I thought it was absolutely perfect. It was quintessentially English. We had this guy who got this kind of choir boy, sort of churchy voice. Yet the only thing that I never managed to come to grips with, and I think it's because we use technology, the word progressive rock we got labelled with. I think it's because we had the Moog. But if you think about it, Emerson, Lake and Palmer was very European. It wasn't sort of driven by jazz or blues. There was no Americana in there at all. It was strictly English. But prog band? Was it 100% prog? Not really. We had C'est la Vie from the beginning, Footprints in the Snow, Lucky Man, Still You Turn Me On. These were folk tunes, pretty melodies. You'd have guys with pipes and beards in the audience, you're just singing, these beautiful, you think, I wonder what they're thinking when they're doing this. And then the next minute you're playing Toccata or Tarkas, which is way out there. So the actual balance internally was absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. And it was something that couldn't have lasted any longer than what it did, which we actually played together for 16 years. It was an 8 years, there was a break for 10, and then a further 8 from 91 on. So a long time, really. To play that music that's so intense and so eclectic, really. And it's very European. And of course, for me, it covered all the spectrums, really, as a drummer.